Hey everybody, I'm fighting this fucking flower. He's kicking my ass. Here we go. Episode whatever of this show that has a name.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, right.
Of
The Pedantic Romantics, Flow Motion Suicide. Hell yeah. I don't know why he came to my mind, but...
I think this is the last one we can do before I'm out of space.
Okay, okay.
And
so
also completely out of things to talk about entirely.
Dude, we can go on for dunk ass for quite a while, no doubt.
Tell me about some of your hottest anime baes.
I've made quite a few lists of that nature, but I'd be happy to go into more detail.
Well, it's funny, because I feel like your waifu list is kind of all-encompassing of just, like, girls you like for any reason.
That's true. That's true.
Whereas I have very distinctive lists.
No. What the fuck? Go on.
I have, like, a list of the hottest anime girls.
Ah, I see.
And then a list of the best anime girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then a list of my waifus.
Sure.
All separate. Because there's some girls, okay, hottest anime girls. My number 1 and number 2 are Haruhi and C2. Neither of them's a waifu, neither of them's a best girl.
Right.
Who's
the best girl in fucking, if not C2, who can beat her?
Well,
or you're not doing like per show or anything.
I'm not talking about per show, but Callan's better than C2.
That's true.
In terms of like personality. I really like Callan. The only reason I'm not as into her is that I don't like her. I don't like her hair that much,
and her hair is why I love her so much. Like her she's two different hairstyles.
Slightly too big for me. I think her tits are perfect in the show, but like all fan art makes them too big.
Yeah, they go a little crazy.
There's a certain size of tits in anime that is like the absolute maximum of what I can tolerate. And whenever there's a character who has tits of that size, no fan artist will draw them of that size. They will always draw them much bigger, and it's fucking infuriating.
Haruhi's art generally doesn't give her like a gigantic rack or anything, though.
Honestly, like a lot of it does, but the advantage of Haruhi is that there's just so much art.
That's true.
Stop!
Please stop!
You don't have as much of that problem.
Oh my God! Stop!
But there is a ton of Haruhi art that gives her like way too big of tits. But anyways, so that's the top 10 hottest. Like Haruhi and C2 are at the top, but they would not be on my waifu list or my like favorite anime girls list.
I see. I see. I played it far more fast and loose with the definition there.
Well, because when I think waifu, I think literal wife. Like, which characters do I want to marry for real?
Okay. Okay.
Like.
Well, I would marry a hot bitch for sure. And then,
I would marry
give her the mustache ride
too. It would just be miserable, and like mostly for the fact that they're hot. You know?
Yeah.
I'd prefer.
Haruhi would be fun to have in your life.
And eat it too. Like
C2 would be a bummer and be like, just why can't I be set free and fucking die? Let me die, please.
Yeah, those two don't make my other lists, but like there is some crossover. Like I put Tsunemori Akane from Psycho-Pass on my hottest girls list. She would also be on my best girls list at number 1. She's my favorite anime character, but not probably on my waifu list.
Fuck.
Like I don't think we'd be a good couple. Like I like her as a character a lot. But you know, I can't see myself like living with Akane. She's kind of really duty driven and stuff, you know.
Right. Like she's a cop and a professional, right?
Yeah. So. She's very proper. Like I feel like you know, she'd be too intense for me, you know.
I never really think in those terms.
I always think in those terms. Because I am a raging romantic.
Like I mean by that logic though, would like my relationship with Eri Ninamori would not be great. There would be challenges.
She would not be on my waifu list. She'd be on my hot girl list and probably my best girl list, but not my waifu list.
Well, fuck those limitations. Now, I don't give a shit.
A girl who would probably be on all of those lists, and the only reason she's not my number 1 waifu is because she's married, is the girl from Danaganani. Because she's... I
don't know what that is. Oh, that's the...
I can't understand what my husband is saying. Because she's like the perfect woman for me. She's everything I ever wanted out of a wife. Like
she
a literal
is
wife.
Everything to me. Yeah, I hear you, Doug.
She's like a perfect woman to be married to. She's pretty. I put her at number 10 on my hottest girls list because like even though I don't find her design that hot in the anime, I'm so attracted to all the like details of who she is that like it even makes her hotter. You know.
Sure.
The only thing preventing it is that like she's already married to somebody else, and like I can't take her away.
That's exactly how I feel about Nia. Like, there's no way I could ever seriously consider
agreed.
thinking about Nia because she is Simone's wife and completes him, and the idea even disgusts me.
I mean, granted, in the case of I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying, the main character might as well be
it's
me.
pretty much just
fucking
you.
Anime blogger.
He doesn't really have much in the way of a personality, so that's a little more...
Yeah, it's easier to, like, read yourself into it, but, like...
Dude, by the way, let me just say, so here's some great level design, okay? Some great game design. Right now, I'm about to drop, right? I'm about to be kicked out and have to play as Riku and have to do everything I've just done in this room over again. And again, you remember, this game has gigantic rooms where you have to do a bunch of shit. I'm gonna have to do it all over again. Now, there is an item called, like, a drop, or like a drop reset item. Like, you eat it and you get back some drop gauge. I wanted to use that to give myself more time, but in this room, you don't get to access your menu. What you get is instead this pause menu that just says, hey, here's what you need to do. I can't get to that item to stop myself from dropping. I have to drop, and it's going to make me do this again. And I'm again not going to have access to my fucking thing that would prevent me from dropping, like the decelerator or whatever the item is that I specifically bought to get around this problem. This is dog shit. This is the worst.
Are you allowed to drop just whatever the hell you want?
Well, yeah, but like, why would I ever want to do that?
You should have just entered this room and dropped immediately because you knew you didn't have time left.
That's playing the game's fucking game, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a bitch to this fucking game.
Right.
I refuse.
Well, no, but that's just like... next 15 seconds, waste your fucking
I'm just going to kill myself. There's nothing else to do. Like, if I could, I'd try to beat the level that fast, but I can't. I just don't have enough time. This is so shit in every way. God.
It's pretty shit.
Like, it's forcing me to make some bad decisions.
I
dropped. And what a drop it was.
Drop in the bucket of all the shit that's wrong with this turd pile.
Okay, decelerator, yes. Potion, sure. Oh, god damn it.
Oh, what was I talking about? Waifus.
We were talking about waifus.
Yeah. So yeah, my favorite anime girl, Akane from Psycho Pass.
Right.
My hottest anime girl, Haruhi. But as for my number one waifu, it probably is Kaoru from I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. Just because, like, I don't know, I have other characters who, like, I have been on the list a lot longer.
Yeah,
but like none of them are as complete package as she is. So yeah, I guess her. But there's definitely characters who, like, could not be on all three lists. And, like, I feel like your waifu list accounts for some characters that you just like and wouldn't really think of as hot or actual wife
like who?
material.
Well, maybe not as wife material, like specifically.
The lolly girl who you just like because that one pose of her giving a thumbs up. Like,
well, she's on as a joke. That's a joke one.
Sure.
Same with the Mary-san from Genki. Though Mary's actually a wonderful character with a rich personality. Shut up, Shiki.
Like on my favorite characters list is have you ever seen any of Kodocha?
Which one's that? I forget what show that is.
It's about like a 10-year-old girl with red hair who's like an actress, and you probably haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's from the 90s, and the main character of that show, Sana Kurata, is like definitely one of my favorite anime characters of all time. She is 10, and she's not attractive at all.
Well, okay, so she's just a character you like.
Yeah,
that's
so
fine.
Like, that's why I would not put her on a waifu list, because it would just be weird, you know? There's no attraction there whatsoever, but she is definitely one of my favorite anime characters of all time.
That's cool.
And a very odd one at that, because I've seen very little of Kodocha. I've probably seen like 15 episodes out of like 90.
I died, what the fuck?
But she's just great.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, I've seen very little of fucking Bakemonogatari. I haven't even met that character in the show, and yet I fucking love everything about that I've seen. I just love everything aesthetically about Sengoku that I've seen.
She's pretty great.
I don't know, man.
I think she would be on my list if I didn't know the character.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I mean, not that I think she's terrible or anything.
Everyone hates her. Everyone immediately says, I don't believe it. She's a pure maiden. I don't believe it. She's a good girl.
People shit on her because, like, she does have a lot of fans, and people hate that.
Oh, is that really?
Like, it's really the... Every character in Monogatari is a bunch of people's favorite.
Okay.
But there's certain characters, like... Because of the fact that she's, like, the star of, like, some of the... She's like a fan service character, you know? Like, she's not as deep as the other characters. Like, people who want to seem sophisticated will always pick one of the, like, the you know, Senjo Gahara or Hanekawa. Yeah. You know, those are the two who are, like...
Hanekawa, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything about her either.
I mean, Hanekawa is the, you know,
biggest cat girl, right? And, yes, I mean, she seems kind of like a fan service character, just based on what I've seen.
But she has, like, by far the most narrative development.
Oh, really?
Out of anybody. Like, granted, I think a lot of it's fucking... talking about Monogatari is hard for me because I have complex opinions about Nisio Isin as a writer.
Yeah, okay.
I think a lot of people probably do. But, like, most people who are fans of Monogatari, they just watch it and like it. You know? And then there's people like me who have to, like, sit here and qualify any statement I make about it by, like, explaining. Now, granted, like, Hanekawa's an interesting character, but also I hate all of the dialogue that's about her because of my personal hang-ups with Nisio Isin's writing, you know? Because, like, basically Nisio Isin is really obsessed with the concept of geniuses. Like, he can't stop talking about it all the time in all of his stories. He never shuts up about genius and, like, just trying to understand, like, the differences, like basically the paradox by which, or paradigm is perhaps the word I want to use. Just that like, the idea that to a genius, a normal person is an idiot, you know?
Sure, okay.
Like the way that, like, how it's often said that, like, if you are of average intelligence and you meet a retarded person, then you think, wow, that guy's retarded.
Sure.
But if someone's of, like, exponentially higher intelligence than you, then they think you are retarded. They think normal people are retarded, you know? And, like, this kind of, like, what that kind of genius does to people is, like, something Nisio Isin is totally obsessed with. And, like, all of his stories have a huge element of it.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Hanekawa is one of those. She's a genius she's, like, so far above everybody else that she can't, like, relate to people kind of thing,
I see. And she's got fat tits, dude.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And, but she also has, like, all these, like, you know, family issues and stuff. And, like, it's just, like, sometimes she can be used in interesting ways, and sometimes she's just used for Nisio Isin to ramble on and on and on about his ideas of genius, which, like, are the kind of thing where it's like, this is potentially interesting, but, like, there's a lot of armchair psychology and shit, and stuff that just, like...
Yeah.
That, like, he says it, and, like, it's fine if you think of it in terms of the story, but if you think of it in terms of, like, oh, this is really how people think, then it's like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe you should read a few more books about this subject before you, like, write a, you know, a treatise on it. Like, characters do a lot of, like, explaining one another to one another.
That sounds really fun.
Like, you know, like, there'll be a scene of Senjo Gahara being like, oh, Hanekawa, the reason you're having this problem is because you think like this, and, like, that's the issue, is that you have to act more like this, you know, and, like, sometimes it can be really obnoxious to me.
I can easily see myself being annoyed by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so indirect that I don't think a lot of people even notice that kind of shit in Monogatari. Like, honestly, so much of it is just winding dialogue that, like, I think a lot of the dialogue people just don't even pay attention to. Like, it just goes over your head, you know? Like, even for me, there's certain scenes that, like, I couldn't tell you what the hell they were talking about in that scene, because at some point I stopped caring. And so much of it is, like, lingual jokes or just, like, weird shit that, like, is just Nisio Isin having fun with writing bullshit, you know? But yeah, so, like, Hanekawa, even though she is an interesting character in certain ways, because there's so much of the, like, bullshit musings about genius going on with her that I find annoying, then, like, I can't fully enjoy her character, you know?
I see.
And Nadeko, the problem with her is just that she's basically a non-character until Series 2. But I do think her arc is pretty great in that season, where she just, like, basically loses her fucking mind because she's too shit of a character. She wants to D so bad.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Well, like, it's, like, there's this great scene, like, the way her arc in Series 2 starts off is just with her, like, summarizing who she is, but in the way of, like, almost like a D&D stat sheet, like if you were just describing, like, the tangible details of a character, like...
Why? I fucking hate this game! Go on.
She's just, like, describing all the tangible details of who she is, and, like, you kind of get the... Like, this is all she has been throughout the show.
Sure.
Like, she has just been, like, a meme character, essentially. And then, like, she herself has a problem with this fact that, like, there's nothing to me other than this, like, I'm just a cute girl. I'm just some cute girl. No one has a problem with me. I just exist for the sake of myself, you know? And, like, there's this guy who I'm in love with, but, like, he doesn't care. Nobody cares, you know? Like, I'm just nobody.
That's cool.
And then she kind of goes through this, like, evolution where it's I think it begins. I don't remember who it is because she's friends with Araragi's sisters. I think one of them like cuts off part of her hair and she just like absolutely loses her mind.
Well, she cuts off Sengoku's hair.
Yeah. She, like she's accusing Sengoku of being like a fake bitch. And then cuts off some of her hair, and then she just like completely goes apeshit and turns into a monster.
That's cool.
And becomes the villain for a while.
What does she do in her role as villain?
Basically, her hair turns into actual snakes.
I remember that show.
And then she's like, I'm going to kill Araragi on this date at the end of summer. And, or like him and Senjogahara. She's like, I'm going to murder them.
I mean, does she have that ability to do so?
Okay. She becomes like a god.
Oh.
So she can do like whatever.
It's just that easy, folks.
But then at the end of the show, if you care about
I don't
spoiler,
care. Go ahead and tell me.
The character Kaiki just kind of like talks her down by basically telling her you're being a fucking brat. Like, it's like a whole episode of him basically being like, look, you are a child. These are just adolescent emotions that don't mean anything. You need to calm the fuck down. Don't kill your friends. You know, like, and he like basically says to her like, the problem you have is that like an adult has never talked to you like about this stuff. Like you need adult supervision in your life because you're a fucking bratty 12-year-old. You know? That's how he resolves the situation.
That seems perfectly appropriate. I just wish that worked really as well in real life. Just telling children that remember that you're retarded. Keep that in mind, and they'll be like, you know what? That's true. Maybe my opinion doesn't matter.
I mean, he's really harsh on her. Kaiki is. He's great for just being like, he's just a total asshole.
He's like that Exorcist dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fake. His whole thing is that he's just he creates problems for himself to solve, you know, and he does not believe in the supernatural at all.
But he actually deals with fucking demons. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, but
why would he not believe? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's
all like smoke and mirrors that he's.
What the hell is he talking about? He's literally banished demons. I've seen him do it. What the fuck? That does not make sense.
Dude,
that does not compute.
Nisio Isin's writing is all madness. Like all these characters are literally insane. Like,
yeah, okay. I guess the character could just be insane. That would explain it.
Like he has his own logic for why he believes these things, and like
I bet I would find it retarded.
Like, I would say that most of Nisio Isin's characters are really just logical paradigms. Like, the way he writes a character is to have, like, to give them a way of thinking that, like, they can justify to themselves and like, to others. And, like, that's most of what it is. It's like, how does this character think? How do they justify the way that they act through the way that they think, you know?
Makes sense.
Which sometimes can make a really interesting character, and sometimes can make a really shitty character who you really fucking hate.
Yeah.
Which is what most of Katanagatari was for me. Have you seen Katanagatari?
Yes, I have. I've seen the whole thing.
What did you think of that show?
I
hated it.
I thought it was very verbose. I did not... I don't know. Like, all the long speeches justifying whatever actions they were trying to take felt really just not vibing with it.
I just don't care. Like... The final episode...
Now, see, the final episode I loved. I thought it was a fantastic
Did you like the girl's fucking speech, though?
Oh, I didn't give a shit about that at all. No, I didn't care.
Because that killed, like...
What I cared about was the glorious murder spree that the guy went on. It was fucking incredible. It was... it was so good.
The thing is, I was annoyed with that show all the way through. Like, there's parts of it I like, but, like...
I felt dumb watching it. Like, I was just too stupid to understand what he was getting at.
You're not too stupid. I mean... It's how do I put it? It's like when someone isn't necessarily saying something super deep, but they are using shitloads of big words.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I get that feeling.
Like, not that Nisio Isin, his ideas are interesting, but like most of it, it's not like actually high-minded academic shit. It's mostly like him playing with words. Like, he's just obsessed with language, so like he finds ways to like make stuff that's like playful. in its language, but not necessarily based in like real psychology.
So here's an example. So like the Cheerio girl, right? She had this thing where she insisted she was not a strategist. She was a trickster or like a schemer or something. Yeah. She insisted on being referred to by that title, and I never understood what the point of that was. Why would she do that?
Some specific thing that's a very Nisio Isin thing. Like, he's just obsessed with words and like what specific words mean and like semantics, and a lot of the time like the dramatic weight in his story is based on semantics, like a semantic difference between two things. Like, I mean, the first arc of Bakemonogatari is, like, all about the concept of weight and, like, what it means for Senjougahara to be weightless.
Right.
Yeah, and it is cool. Like, that's one of his better examples of it. But, like, the end of Katanagatari, when, like, the girl is just insisting that she never loved him, she just tricked herself into loving him because she's...
Beat yourself off harder,
it's all
girl.
just part of her scheme. Like, oh, you know, I'm so manipulative that I just manipulated myself into caring about you.
Whoa,
which
dude.
is totally distinct from just caring about you for some reason.
Just shut up.
It doesn't mean the same thing. But what pissed me off about it is that he completely buys into it.
Yeah, he does.
Like, she gives a speech and he's like, oh, yeah, I guess you didn't love me.
I liked him.
You were an amazing schemer. And I was just like, oh, fuck off.
What I liked about him was how he was a completely blank slate who would do what anyone told him at any time. He had like no personality, no anything. But as a result of that, he was kind of a complete psychopath who would do things like go on a gigantic murder spree in the last episode just because he was a little pissed off about how things were going. And I really liked that. I liked that a lot. He was a psycho, and it was rad.
Alright, I think we're done with this episode.
I beat that boss, thank God. Ooh.
Shit is filling up, so...
Look at this nice spinning boys. Guys. Bye, guys.
Why are they spinning?
I don't know why they're fucking spinning.